And we're back.
We're back, Bumble Bitches.
Episode 41 of season 2 of the To Be Better podcast.
Okay.
As people are watching this right now on YouTube, not being part of our Patreon, we will effectively be en route to Thailand for our couples retreat seminar thing that we're doing by the time this
Holy
airs.
guacamole.
And I think next week's episode, when they get it, we will effectively be in Thailand doing the seminars and all that bullshit that we're doing
I'm
out
so
there.
excited for the seminars.
Yep.
I really hope it helps people.
Going to be a good time. We are up to, I think we have 9 slots left on the Costa Rica trip, which is super exciting. I would really like to sell that trip out.
Yeah, that would be dope. No headband.
I don't have a whole lot of stuff that I want to get into. I do want to plug the Patreon because we have people from Patreon watching right now live. If you guys would like to see live recordings of the podcast, join our Patreon. Discord community is really dope. I'm not going to plug too much of that. Just needed to get it out of the way because it does worth mentioning. And then we'll plug the YouTube and all that shit later on.
Okay.
I have a conversation from the Death Star that is a talking point that was brought up that we should try to cover. And it says,
Okay.
my question to you both is, do you think it's necessary to be loyal before you need to be loyal? Like in the early stages of dating, before you make things official, at what point do you become completely loyal? First date, second, meeting the family, first time you sleep together. And then I asked for a definition of loyalty, and it said loyalty in this instance, what I mean is, at what point do you make yourself unavailable to other interests? At what point do you say, no, I'm unavailable because I'm committed to one person? Would you continue to accept attention from other people before a relationship has a title? Or do you think it's important to give your loyalty before an unofficial commitment or before an official commitment?
I don't like the way any of that was phrased.
I don't either.
Because when I think about people in the dating game trying to get to know people, I'm not talking to 3 or 4 different people at one time. You have my undivided attention until I decide whether or not this is something I want to move forward with. Yeah, and if it happens to come up, some dude asks for my number, I'm talking to somebody right now. You can have my number, but just know, like, this isn't going to go anywhere right now. I'm talking to somebody, so.
So does that speak more on loyalty or more on your ability to
Focus your attention?
focus your attention?
I think it's more on focus your attention because I don't view that as loyalty. I view that as I am on the market. You guys are on the market. We're all shopping right now. I'm not grabbing 6 different apples at once,
And
trying to
read
feel
multiple
them.
boxes, right?
Right. I'm feeling all these 6 apples at once, trying to pick out which one's the best one. No, I'm going to pick up one apple. I'm going to inspect it. Then I'm going to put it down. I'm going to pick up another apple. I'm going to inspect it. And I'm going to put it down until I find the apple that works best for me. We're not just going into this clusterfuck blindly. Loyalty is something that is earned, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So what does that say to somebody who is like, well, I'm not in a committed relationship with them. I'm going to keep my options open.
Then they need to be aware of that, and you can't get upset if they're doing the same thing.
Do you think that people will use that to manipulate people to get them to try to vie for your attention more?
Yes.
Maybe spend more.
I do believe people would do that, yeah.
Let me show you that I'm better than them.
You're in competition right now. You need to be the winner or you're not going to get me. Just know that I have 3 other guys who are willing to take me to the melting pot, Malibu, and then, I don't know, the Georgia aquarium is expensive, right?
I have no idea. I mean, it would be for us because we don't fucking live in Georgia.
Yeah, but I was just thinking of pricey things, and Georgia aquarium came to my mind.
So does that speak to loyalty or self-respect? Because you know what you're doing in those moments.
Right. I think that comes down to your character as a person. Just your character as a person. If you're somebody who's speaking to 5 different people at one time, biting for 5 different people's attention, giving them the hope that maybe we can get into a relationship, knowing that 4 other people are waiting for that same hope. If you have 4 other people waiting in the corner, also waiting to see if we're going to be in a relationship, that's messed up.
It's not fair to them for sure.
It's selfish. Yeah. Main character. This is all about me. I'm the prize here, guys. No, the prize is we're going to make a relationship work together because we love each other. That's the prize.
Prize would be a longevity in like marriage. Like,
right.
Yeah, I didn't like that whole thing because I think that if you are talking to somebody and things are starting to become really interesting, right? And like you're really vibing with this person, and the other person that is talking to other people puts out the illusion or the appearance that they are also really enjoying it, and you think things are starting to get serious, and she's on the other end talking to 2 other dudes.
Right. Like you're over here thinking about how you want to buy her a house and make her happy and give her
Right.
kids. And
Right.
she's over there talking to how she's going to go down on some dude at 3 a.m. tonight after the club.
Right. Well, even if it doesn't go to sexual aspects,
Yeah.
knowing that there could be another dude talking about good night, beautiful, like it just makes me feel scummy.
Yeah. Man, just thinking about being the person to wake up to 5 different people telling me good morning, beautiful, I would feel like an attention whore. Why do I need that many people telling me that I'm beautiful? Why do I need that many people? Why do I need to be aware that that many people are waking up thinking about me?
Right. Well, that would speak to using the validation of others to fulfill your happiness.
Right.
Your self-worth is only as good as the opinions of others, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I believe that.
For me, loyalty, I will test you to see if you're worthy of my loyalty because I am a gift.
What does that look like?
So, say I'm beginning a new friendship with somebody and times are rough, and she was like, hey, I had to fix this on my car and now I'm having a hard time feeding the kids. If I pay you back next month, can you spot me $150? I will spot you that $150 because you're now my friend and this is a friendship. Now, if you do me dirty and don't pay me back, there is no loyalty there for me. You've already done me dirty. I will never help you again. You can go do that to somebody else. But there are levels to my loyalty. I will be more willing to help a new friend with $150 worth of groceries versus buying them a new car. Right?
Okay. If you were rich, how would that $150 look versus the car?
What do you mean?
Because cost is speculative.
Right. Okay. So if I'm buying a friend a car,
Yeah. Like if you had the money, if you were 100 millionaire and spending
Right.
20,000 or 150,
I mean, that would be nothing for me.
Right.
Right. But it's
So-
on the principle of it.
okay.
If you're using me like I'm a bank account and I only hear from you when you're struggling and you need money, I'm not going to be loyal to you.
Right. No, I get that.
If you're somebody who shows up for me emotionally, right? If I'm having a really hard time and you talk me down off the ledge, or I just need somebody to talk to and we're going to talk about fairies in the woods, and you play into that goofy, girly aspect of things, there's a loyalty there. I view that human connection above all else the most important. And if I'm not a human to you, you don't get anything from me.
That makes sense. That actually explains a lot in the way that you interact with people.
Yeah. Okay, well, now I need you to elaborate on that. What does that mean?
The whole situation yesterday, without getting into that, because that was personal life shit from our friends. The way that you handled that whole interaction in the beginning stages before you worked through it speaks to exactly what you just laid out.
Yeah.
You had some growth yesterday.
I did have some growth yesterday, and I had some more growth today. And it's uncomfortable and my back itches, but I also feel lighter.
That's good.
I feel like my soul has been cleansed a little bit by the growth, and that's nice. Do I have a fucking lazy eye, guys? Am I just not catching this? Does anybody see it? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it the angle?
I think it's the angle, babe.
You think so?
I don't know. You might be looking like Debo over there.
Oh no! No, this is just the bags under my eyes, guys. I have a fucking stressful life. Living in my brain causes stress.
Alex Alman said, I have a lazy eye. You better give that motherfucker a pep talk. Tell him quit being a
Cheers.
lazy little bitch. Jennifer said, thank you for the updated check-ins. I hope you guys are
nice.
enjoying those.
I'm glad you looked at it. Thanks for looking at it, guys. That feels good.
Yeah.
We know what it's like to put something out into the world and no one ever looks at it or gives it a second glance.
Yeah.
And this is to help people. And I'm glad that people are taking the tools. It's nice.
Okay, so is there anything that more you want to talk about on the loyalty conversation? So I guess just how would that... Oh, wait, you're still hitting your pen.
Okay.
So now back to the episode. Is there anything that you want to add on to the...
Yes.
Okay.
So when would it come in? Right? So for me, my loyalty with you started, we had basic friendship, right? So you're messaging me at 3:00 in the morning. It's not for a stupid reason.
Right.
I'm going to message you back. If you're calling me out of the blue, I'm going to answer the phone. You don't just call for no reason. If your car breaks down and you need somebody to pick you up, I'm going to come and pick you up, right? That kind of loyalty. When we moved into the courting phase, I was grocery shopping for you. I was doing your laundry. I did a deep cleaning of your house. Like, that loyalty elevated because I already knew who you were as a person. I knew what I liked, right? I was liking what I was saying. Little shimmy through that door and I carried those groceries. And my loyalty elevated in the relationship. Not wifely duties, but I was giving you like the wife light.
Yeah.
You're getting the free version of the app before you pay for it.
Right.
Right? And
7-day trial.
yeah, because there is a new commitment here of you are now above other people in my life. You are somebody I am prospecting for long-term romantic relationship. And I think when that step is made, when we go from, okay, we are no longer just friends and we are actually doing this to build a life together, right? Like we're not gonna joke about breaking up. I'm not gonna joke about what celebrities I want to sleep with.
That was a big one.
All of these kinds of things. And we are going to focus on us as a team and building our empire. That also comes with behavior. If you are with somebody who is chaotic, they have erratic behavior, they're emotionally immature, constantly breaking up with you, constantly kicking you out of the house, constantly removing funds from you, whatever, that is not somebody I'm speaking of when I was previous conversation.
Right.
Okay.
Got to pay attention to people's actions.
Right.
That comes down to understanding that I think that a lot of that speaks on self-worth. When we have been treated like that in the past and we have had other people show us that that's who they are and we've accepted that. And every time we accept it from other people that this is just who people are, this is what I'm worthy of, grows within us.
Yeah.
And then when you find somebody that actually treats you right, you don't know how to act around it because you've been mistreated so much that you expect that to just be the norm.
Right.
And if you go, I fucking have value, I've done the work on myself, I'm healing, I know what I want, I know how I want to be treated, and I'm not going to accept less than, that shit stops because you are now looking for somebody that's going to treat you the way that you deserve as you believe you deserve to be treated.
Right.
I would like to point out that you don't fucking deserve anything. You have to work for that and hope that somebody else is doing the same work.
And then sees the value in what you're doing.
Right. Because people are going to do what's best for them. And when you look at that, and from the understanding of everyone at the end of the day is going to have to live their own life regardless of who you are or what you're doing, you're supposed to be filling each other up and adding to that life. And if you're not adding value to that life, what are you doing there? Right? You should be filling each other up.
Reloading.
Right. Right.
I want to tack this onto the conversation. Someone on Patreon just asked, what's the difference between girlfriend and wifely duties? I don't believe in girlfriends.
Okay.
I don't believe in boyfriends. I am raising our daughter. She already has this. She's a wife in waiting.
Okay.
Like, we are not messing around with boyfriend and girlfriends because that's temporary. We have a goal in life, and we are not going to dilly-dally and waste our aspirations, dreams, and goals on chasing after people who aren't fulfilling to us just because we have insecurities or need validations, right?
That's a good way to put that.
We are goal-oriented, and that goal is to live the life to the best of our ability and do it while we're fucking happy. And you're going to find somebody who matches that energy. We're not going to try to fix people. We're not going to hope that somebody changes because we see the good in them. We're going to take people for what they are. We're going to mourn maybe the illusion that we had of them, or maybe even mourn the good side of them because they're too stubborn in the negative of it. And then move on because there's nothing you can do about that. She is a wife in waiting. She's going to find that energy. First boy she bring home better be impressive. 15, 16 years old, I'm not going to hold back. That is a red flag behavior right there, not something you really need to consider before you commit yourself to this boy long term. You said you wanted to do this with your life. This is how that's going to impact that.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, because this is going to challenge a whole lot of thought processes.
Okay.
As a mother raising a young girl that you want to be a wife in waiting, knowing that you cannot teach her the fuck all men mindset,
Right.
how are you going to, what's the difference in raising her at that point? Because you're going to have to do something different.
We look for the gentleman.
Okay.
So we're not looking at the negative. We're going to look for the good in men. And if you can't find the good in a man, you need to move on. Right? Yes, he opens the doors for you, but are you emotionally safe with him? Do you feel like you can go to him and not get a backlash? When you point out that he is in a cycle of behavior, right? You're super frustrated and you're kind of taking things out on me a little bit. It's hurting my feelings. And then there's not an apology, or there is not a, babe, I'm so sorry. I have X, Y, and Z going on. I'm on autopilot. Red flags. We're looking for red flags. We're not fuck all men, because Pops is a really great provider. You see how Pops makes me happy. We are going to look for the good traits. And when we take note of the negative, we're going to take note of it, but we're not going to attribute it to every single male.
I'm going to hit you with something I heard the other day, since we're talking about red flags.
Okay.
It said, red flags are felt, not seen.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, wait, what? Can you say that again?
Right. No, you're right. Mm-hmm. Because it's either the lack of an action. It's the lack of an action.
Yep. Do we want to just jump into some emails now? I don't know how long we've been at it. 20 minutes. I don't have anything else on this topic. The idea of loyalty in the way that person was describing it doesn't sound like loyalty to me. I think that speaks on self-respect and being able to fulfill your own needs and happiness, not relying on the validation of other people to live. I actually believe that if you are a people pleaser, or you are somebody that's living solely off the validation of other people to quantify your existence, you're a slave.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like,
where's the free will?
Right.
Everything you're doing is to make somebody else happy, even if it kills you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd also like to point out that everybody likes a people pleaser. And if you've got a whole lot of friends, stop being a people pleaser for a little while and start setting boundaries and adhering to them, and see how many people fucking exit your life because of it.
We are courting. Jackie just said, thank you for answering. It helps change the understanding. We are courting. We're either going to have the same goal. If you want marriage, then okay, we're going to work on this. But what is your definition of marriage? What does that look like to you? And if it's, well, you're going to cook and clean for me. Okay, no, I'm good. Thanks. Because I am looking for a teammate. I am looking for someone who's going to love me in my lowest, because I'm willing to reciprocate that. Ride or die, no matter how mad I make you, no matter how happy I make you, we're going to get through this shit. Like,
we were supposed to do that skit.
We can do it right now. You can just improvise.
Yeah.
We could do it.
No, we're recording. I'd rather do it on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. I just thought of the whole ride or die thing.
Yeah.
I fucking love you, and I'm going to go get you a milkshake right now because you're really making me angry. Or however that's going to plan out. But I can't yell at you knowing that there's people watching. I'm already self-conscious doing it playfully. That like this makes it so much worse.
I hope you know that I'm really going to get into character. I might cry.
Oh, fuck me. It's going to make it even worse.
I'm a method actor. I can't. Unless we're doing like Sharknado.
Yeah.
I could do a Sharknado mindset and just be overly dramatic.
Yeah. I think that's probably the route to go.
I need a robe. A really big fluffy robe.
Okay. Big glasses.
Yeah.
Live that 70s life.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into some emails, babe.
Okay.
Where's your phone or tablet or whatever?
You know where the tablet is.
It's at the house on the table.
It is. I can't believe I have to cook dinner again tonight.
Where did that come from?
That was my thought as I was searching for the drive. That was just a thought that flashed in my mind like a neon sign.
While you're looking that up, I feel the need to plug the Voice of the Broken.
Okay.
So guys, if you are enjoying the To Be Better podcast and all the things that we've done over the last 2 years, I am doing a side project called the Voice of the Broken. I am looking for emails that are long, in-depth, from men, documenting their shortcomings, their ultimate failures, wanting to unalive themselves to ultimate success, and the things that they're doing in life now that fills them up and makes them happy, so that we can try to problem solve and help people who are also going through these things with new information. So if you would like to send your story to us to be read on the Voice of the Broken podcast, send it to tobebetterco@gmail.com and then put in the subject Voice of the Broken. For anybody else that's listening, if you would like to have your emails read on the podcast, you send those emails to tobebetterco@gmail.com. They'll get screened and put up. Patreon gets early access to everything and priority email reads. So if you're a member of our Patreon, make sure you put that in the subject title so that your email can get scooted up the line.
Yep. Off topic. Somebody just asked, what is your take on the Chase glitch situation that is unfolding on the internet currently? I have no idea who that is.
It's not a fucking glitch. It's check fraud.
Oh, it's bank
check
thing.
fraud.
I thought that was somebody's name, like a Twitch streamer.
Chase Bank.
I thought a person's name.
It's check fraud. And it's going around on TikTok that you can fucking get free money from Chase Bank by committing check fraud. And there are people doing it, and now there are people getting arrested for it. Just because you see something on the internet doesn't make it fucking real. People are stupid as fuck.
There was not a single point where they're like, this kind of feels illegal. Oh my gosh.
Samantha Power said just men. Yes, it is just men.
Yep.
If you are the wife of a veteran who has a TBI and severe PTSD, and you are able to narrate the struggles that you see them going through, and you would like to send an email about your husband, I'm willing to read those. I don't know if they'll air.
Not to shit on your husband.
Right. I don't know if they'll air, but I would put that on a scale and weigh it to see if that's worth talking about. But it needs to be from a place to help your husband and document what he's going through and where he's going versus hardships, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a trauma dump. That's not what we do.
I feel so alone. This is terrible for me.
Right.
Right.
Make it about him.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be documenting shit. If you guys want to send emails to Peaches about women shit, you can absolutely do that. Same email address. And in the event that you ever decide you want to do that, we'll have a backlog of shit that we can talk about.
Yeah.
But we could even do that as episodes, and I can just sit here and be Vanna White, and you can fucking host a show, and I could.
We could do that. Having you here as my support human is nice.
I'll take it. Well, I mean, you've got all kinds of support now. You got a little fucking mob going.
Yeah.
Support husband, support dog. Carrie. Fuck.
Carl. Leo.
And Jenny said, and have your husband's permission, please. Yeah, please make sure that they're aware that you're sending that email in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Ooh. Could you imagine?
I could, because yeah. Can we jump into some work?
All right. So this one is titled The Trenches. Hey guys, I love listening to your podcast and look forward to hearing what your opinions are on my situation. I would like to remain anonymous as my husband listens as well sometimes. All right. Liability, maybe. By submitting an email to us and us keeping you anonymous will not guarantee that your husband will not recognize us.
That's true.
Just saying. If somebody gets backlash because they sent in an email, it was sent with the knowledge it was going to be read on the podcast, even though they listened. So
yeah.
My husband and I have been married for over 2 years and just recently had our son in June. I quit my job because morning sickness was a nightmare and have since been a stay-at-home mom. We have never been the best with money, but we've always figured things out, and since having to rely on his income alone for about a year now, we've been through... Oh, wow, hang on. We have been through and are still in the trenches. Okay.
Financial reasons are the number one reason for divorce.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. Because it creates a whole lot of unnecessary stress that you otherwise would not have.
And then you take it out on each other.
Right. And that could be something as simple as one person being overly stressed out about money and the other one not.
Right.
Right. And then going,
why are you not worried about this?
Right. Well, let's take it to a different place. Let's take it to the one who's not worried, doesn't check the bank account very often. Mm-hmm. The other person says, hey, money's really fucking tight this week. Try not to spend anything. And then there's a $60 charge at the gas station and you have, what happened? Well, I had to fill my tank. That was $35. I bought a scratch off, a soda and a candy bar. Well, that extra $30 was my tank of gas. Mm-hmm. I don't have gas for the week. What the fuck are we going to do? And now there's a huge fight because one person was aloof and the other person was super panicky. They weren't communicating the needs of what was actually going on. And now there's resentment towards each other.
Right.
This person doesn't think that our finances is that big of a deal. I'm dying trying to make sure that everything is working and we're not, things aren't meshing, blah, 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 blah. That's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And it really does spiral. It makes Why is my spoon dirty of all the fucking spoons versus, oh, well, I'll just grab another spoon because you're salty about other things. That snowball effect.
Right.
And yes, I have my own spoon, guys. It's a thing. I will dig through and find my spoon. It's really weird, but now you guys know that about me. We're also all fucking autistic. Yeah.
Do you recognize how many tiny spoons that I have?
Yeah, but you don't. Do you have one spoon that you eat with specifically?
No.
I do. And if it's not in the thing, I don't want to eat off of. I'll eat a fork. I'll pick a fork.
That's crazy.
I am not crazy.
I didn't say you're crazy. I just said that's crazy. Not in a bad way. I've never had that thought process before. That's a new perspective for me. It's neat. I didn't mean that in a bad way.
It'd be like that sometimes.
I feel the need to clarify. I said that's crazy.
I know.
Not you're crazy.
You.
Okay.
I heard you.
All right.
I'm just giving you shit.
Alrighty. You do know that we're not sane though, right?
Oh, I'm fucking fully aware. Fully.
All right. Continuing on. His family blames me for quitting my job and spending all of his money on nonsense, even though he really only brings home just enough for us to scrape by. Okay, so there's a negativity bias from his family.
There's one from her too. There's a whole lot of condemnation in that statement.
His family blames me. Oh yeah, because he only brings home just enough for us to bring by. So that's two negatives in that sentence. Mm-hmm. The only and the just. You were right.
Just enough to scrape by. He's only doing enough to keep us afloat.
Yeah.
His parents are mad at me for spending all his money even though we're married.
And he doesn't work enough.
Yeah. It's our money.
All right, so that was a lot. Continuing on. I hope she mentions what job he has. I've tried budgeting as best as I could, but he just doesn't bring home enough to save anything. And his family gets mad because we don't have anything extra for us to go out of town or do things with them. Hence, the blame goes on me. I've even shown them our bank statements to confirm where every dollar was spent.
Why would you ever do that?
Right?
Why would you ever show somebody else your bank statements? What are you trying to prove? This is the validation that we were literally just talking about.
Right. So I can see how somebody could view that as a win. Like, oh, I'm going to print all this out and prove them wrong. In my mind, that looks like a beat dog going to the alphas.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because you guys are eating away at me, so now I need to prove that I'm not. I need your guys' approval. I need you guys to know that that's not me.
Yeah, I need your validation.
Right. I'm not saying she's a beat dog. That's the illusion.
Right. This vision in your head.
Right. When I hear that or I try to picture that situation, that is the cartoon that comes to my mind, I suppose. That very much is a form of submission to me.
It is.
You have absolutely nothing to prove. Why do they need to know about your finances? Who's telling them about your finances?
Right.
If we can't go on vacation, we can't go on vacation. If you're going to get pissy about it, why would we go anyway?
Right. Well, if you want us to go on vacation that bad, knowing that we are not financially okay, if you really wanted to spend that time and you had the money, you would take us.
Or you would do something that's not as extravagant.
Right. Let's go for a weekend staycation somewhere.
Right.
We
can all chip in and get an Airbnb.
Right. Something. There's something that could be done there.
Right.
Or, you can just buy an Airbnb that's got an extra room, and instead of fucking making us get our own place, we could rent that room, or we can just come stay at your house.
Right.
There are other things that can be done there, but you're right in that aspect. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I want to point out is this falls under the people who just want to scrape by and that's totally okay with it, and the people who want more, the ambitious people that we talked about in the last episode. That Hard Talks episode that we just did that I had that we re-edited. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about in this whole situation. If he is comfortable working enough to get by and he enjoys the time he has with his family and the downtime he has in the video games, and this is okay for him, this is the type of man you've chosen to be with.
Right. And if you're not okay with it, that's the you problem.
You chose this.
Right.
Yeah.
If you wanted more than that, that should have been stated beforehand. And if he didn't want that, you should have been okay with letting him go.
Right. And it's definitely not too late to have that conversation now either.
Right.
Like I have aspirations and things that I want out of life. And I thought we were on the same page, and you're showing me now that we're not. So what does success look like to you? Let's talk about what that looks like, because if success to you means working 36 hours a week at most, making just enough money to pay all the bills so that we can have time together at home. And that's what your life fulfillment looks like. A present father. It's a conversation. If that's the case, maybe she needs to go back to work. Bring in that other 35 hours of work week. If there's a small child there, you're going to have to pay for daycare. You're going to be working for nothing anyways, but
Right.
you could pick up a side job door dashing, throw the baby in the fucking car.
Yeah, all the car naps.
There's ways to make money
Go
if you need
home
the
for
side
an
hustle.
hour or two for lunch or something. Like, you're in charge of your schedule.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this comes down to expectations not being verbalized. And now those expectations are becoming resentment.
I wonder what he's telling the family.
I do too. This is that whole don't go back and forth with.
Right.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
Without consulting me, he asked his sister to help with our finances, and we were made to close out our joint bank account we had for 2 years, and he and his sister made another one together, cutting me off completely.
So you're not, oh, wow. I don't view that as marriage.
Right. Okay.
I
Cut me
view
off
that
completely.
as a financial hostage.
It says, I'm no longer in charge of making sure the bills are paid and have absolutely zero access to any money.
Yeah. The not having responsibility to pay the bills is dope.
Right.
But you need to have access to the money. You need to see what's in there. That's you have access to every fucking account we've got. You don't ever touch any of them. I still make the financial decisions. But I could lie to you and be like, we're broke. And I could be stacking money left and right as an exit strategy or putting it into a trust that, you know what I mean? Like that's sketchy as fuck, man. I don't like that.
Yeah, that would be the deciding decision, because that was done behind my back. I would leave. Yeah. But I also feel like there's something that's not being said here. Because,
I think there's a lot not being said here.
Because that doesn't make sense. No husband just decides to do that. Unless he's a massive piece of shit.
Right. Or a weak man.
Yeah.
If this is somebody who has had, I'm going to call it family oppression, where he's not been able to do anything. The family has always dictated every facet of his life. And in the event that he does something they don't like, they come down on him and he has to conform to that. It would be very easy for the mom and sister to manipulate him into going against his wife, because people think they have to choose their family over their actual family. You get married, this is your family now.
Yeah.
All that other shit is byproduct. I think people put too much emphasis on family, period.
Oh, me too, yeah.
That whole sharing DNA shit doesn't mean anything. I have family members I haven't spoken to in 30, 40 years. I have family members I've never met before. I walk right by them. It's not going to be like, oh, DNA.
Right.
I know you were related.
The only
Love
person...
you, guy.
Yeah. The only person I have full faith on being on my deathbed, if you are still alive, is you.
Yeah.
The children could one day hate me for whatever reason. Like, there's so much that can happen in life. I've seen the fallout in families before. There is guaranteed no one will love you just because you're blood.
Right. Love is earned.
Yeah.
It's a relationship.
Them showing up is not guaranteed because you're blood.
Yeah. It's choice.
It is.
Love is not enough.
So I'm hung up. I'm not going to continue reading because I'm hung up on, I've tried budgeting as best as I could, but he just doesn't bring home enough to save anything. That doesn't make sense to me.
How would you know that you're not on the bank account anymore?
Well, she was.
Right.
Well, because she was budgeting. She was the one who was in control of the money. And then she's just saying, well, there just wasn't enough.
Right.
So that doesn't make sense to me, right? I've been broke. Like, I was on WIC. I was getting food stamps. I was on Medicaid. Like, I was getting help from everything. And once I got a solid job and I was making income and I didn't have to worry about getting all of my groceries, beans, peanut butter, bread, all of that was covered. I just had to get like meats and whatnot. I was able to start stacking cash. So unless he's in the negative for monthly income, I don't understand.
You mean like a debt to income ratio?
Right. Like if you guys need $4,000 a month to survive and he's only making $3,500.
Well, that's not sustainable.
Right. Or if he's making $3,800.
And that's all they fucking need to survive and there's nothing left over for extras.
Right. And they need $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right. I can see how there's no savings there. But I don't understand. Like, is there no access to resources? Have you not looked into resources?
Yeah, the just skating by doesn't add up to me. I enjoy life too much to not have money to enjoy my life. The goal is not money. The goal is the financial freedom to do whatever the fuck you want to do and live the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
And in order to do those things, you have to have money.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole lot of side hustles. Like there's absolutely no reason for people who are stay-at-homes to not be able to find work on the internet.
Right.
There are a lot of fucking websites that you can get paid simply to transcribe documents.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot on there that if you want to just do the work and you can set your own schedule, work for a couple hours a day. That couple hours a day may not be a lot of money, but if that's the difference between $800 of extra money a month or nothing, that $800 can go a long fucking way for food or Amazon packages or the new Stanley Cup that everybody wants or your stupid Halloween fucking Starbucks cup or whatever that is that you want. Like you're working for play money at that point. I think a lot of that's perspective.
Right. Continuing on. Okay. I'm no longer in charge of making sure the bills are paid and have absolutely zero access to any money. He doesn't even have a debit card to their account, only his sister. His family tells me I'm overreacting and he thinks so too. I don't think I should have to ask for permission to have any money, especially having shown them proof I hadn't been spending any money on unnecessary expenses. It's been a very stressful ordeal, especially going through postpartum anxiety and depression, and I've tried to explain why it's not fair, but everyone just tells me I'm overreacting. Okay, so I'm going to pause here. We once had somebody email in and say that getting Ozempic was a necessity and that they should allot the X amount of money to make that happen. And the husband said it's just not feasible right now. I want to save up for it and do all of that. So people's definitions of unnecessary spending is different.
Right. Need versus want is definitely skewed.
Right.
You know what I'm getting from this? I honestly in this situation would leave. And it has nothing to do with the finances. It's the fact that I have been removed as a priority in my husband's life.
Yeah.
I can't stress how important that is. And that was one of the early conversations that we had before we were even talking or recording. We complained about past relationships and,
how we
where we fell in the hierarchy of things. And I told you at dinner one night, I was like, if I ever get into another relationship again, if I am not the number one priority to my person, I don't want to be in the relationship. And you thought about it. I mean, you did silent for a little bit and you're like, you know what? You're fucking right. Because
I was like, I get that.
I want to fucking matter to somebody.
Yeah. And like, I never thought about that before.
Right.
Until you said that.
It's not something that a lot of people do put thought into because you just expect that that's what's going to happen in a relationship.
Yeah.
But it's never verbalized. And then you find out where you really fucking matter and where you stand in the chain of command of things. And if your person is first and you're seventh to them, where's the equality in that relationship? But in that scenario, he has moved to mom, sister. They are handling all of his finances 100%, which means by proxy, her life is being dictated by the in-laws.
Right.
I would find another job and I would leave him, or I would fucking leave and go after child support or alimony or whatever, because right now this is financial hostage.
Oh, 100%.
And you are not in a position where you are ever going to be able to do anything because your husband has chosen the in-laws to dictate the house.
Right.
You don't have a leader, you have a boy.
100%. I was just thinking, that's not a man. Continuing on. I love him and don't want this to tear us apart. It already has.
Yeah.
It's already torn you guys apart. He's removed you from everything and you have no access to your finances.
Right. And there you can tell the resentment in the first line of the email.
Right. The tearing apart has already happened. So at this point, are you going to accept that it's happened or are you going to continue to turn a blind eye to it?
Right.
Okay. But I feel like I'm just left in the dark. Luckily, to shine some light, I will be starting a new job in a few weeks. Oh, I love that. That's so good to hear. I'm sorry this is so long, but I just wanted a complete outsider's perspective on the situation. Thank you guys so much.
I would not give up any of my income. Not a dime.
Going to my own bank account. You don't need to know what bank I'm going through. You don't need to know what my debit card number is.
And I would say that until the husband reclaims the finances for the household and starts dealing with that again, because the in-laws don't need to know what's going on with your finances.
Right.
They should not be involved in that anyways. If the both of you could not figure out your finances and you had a discussion about allowing somebody else to balance your books for you, it's a very different conversation than him just giving up all of the control and removing you completely from the process. So if you're going to go back to work, take all of your money, put it in a fucking bank account, and don't give any of it up. He makes enough money to make ends meet. That's where that needs to go. If you want to help buy groceries or something, cool. But I got to be honest, until that financial control is back into the house, we're not. You and I aren't even going to have a discussion about how much money I'm making. It's none of your concern.
Right. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
Right.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Online companies that you can go to a website and fill in your credentials and you fucking work online for free. Or not for free, but
Oh, for like a job?
as a job.
Oh, dope.
Right. Yep, ratracerebellion.com. Jenny's right. That was the website. There's a lot of websites like that, though. All right, let's jump into another email.
Oh, okay. This one is titled Growth as a Man in Our Relationship and Failure.
Can you say that again?
Growth as a man in our relationship and failure.
Growth as a man.
Right, in our relationship.
Okay. I wasn't, the beginning of it didn't sound like that to me the first time you said it.
Okay.
I got you now, though.
All right, now we're on it. Hi, both. I need some guidance from you, if you will.
Cast guidance. 1d4 on your next ability score check.
Oh, man, watch me say some super smart stuff.
There's that D4.
Rolled a 2.
Fuck.
I need some guidance from you, if you will. Wasn't even the end of the sentence.
Yeah. Well,
funny.
they wanted guidance. I gave it to them. They wanted bless. That's the same thing. I cast bless. Enhance ability. Enlarge reduce. Like, what do you need? I got you over here. I just updated my spell list.
That reminds me, I need to go through and look at mine.
Yeah.
That's funny. My partner and I have been watching you for the past year now. And as a young couple, find you to be a great relational resource and example.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Changing the narrative one episode at a time.
I don't think a few years ago that either of us would have envisioned wanting to create a relationship based on traditional values, but we believe that being traditionally masculine and feminine in most aspects of a relationship makes sense, makes us stronger and happier as individuals and as a couple. And it gives us a clear and more enjoyable path to shape our life together around.
How are you able to sit there and let her lick you like that? It's fucking giving me anxiety watching it. I just looked over at Carrie and Carrie looked over at me going,
I can hear it.
I can too.
I can hear it.
And you're just completely ignoring it, dude. I'd be fucking freaking out over that.
I got kids. I don't know. Like, it don't bother me.
Fucking hate dog licks. They lick their butthole. We had this conversation while playing Call of Duty. That's as far as I'm going with that conversation. I almost killed Dragon with that. Okay. Yeah, Lila, we're talking about you.
Yeah. I heard you tell her earlier. I don't like that. Stop it.
Yeah.
Now you made me hyper aware of it, and now I don't like it. Now my skin's like super sensitive.
She's self-soothing over there.
I want to call the cops. The issue I'm having is that I was never shown how to be a man, what it means to be a man, and how to embody my masculine energy with conviction and confidence.
Pause. That's also a lie and bullshit. Because we are shown how to be men, but it's not
Demonized.
It's not a good representation of what a man is because it's being skewed in television and TV shows and music and the things that sway cultural opinion has changed what the definition of a man is.
Right.
So you have examples. They're just not good ones because that's what they want. They want weak, broken, frail ass men. And that's why the fathers in all the sitcoms are always a fucking joke. They're never,
Yeah.
the kids get to run over top of them and tell them what to do. And the wives make fun of them and they're the stupid fucking characters in all the child shows growing up now. So you have examples of a man. They're just not good examples of what a man is.
There are certain shows and movies I don't let the kids watch anymore because it makes me sad for knowing that our son is watching that happen to a dad in a TV show or a husband.
I watched you go through Netflix for over an hour the other day, removing shows from that shit.
Yep, I did.
All right.
Okay. Continuing on. I'm having to learn from scratch, and I'm realizing the gap between how I want it to be and how I am is large. This becomes especially evident when having to be a man in a relationship. I am 23 years old, so I give myself enough slack to remain aware of what I have to learn instead of being a victim about not yet being where I want to be.
And pause you again. If you say, I have a tendency or a habit, or I give myself slack, you're making excuses.
Right.
If you are aware of what the problem is and you're not doing the work to fix it, you're not doing the work to fix it. So in this situation where you're giving yourself slack, it's okay to give yourself a little bit of grace when you make a mistake. Like, damn, that was wrong. Okay, mental check note, need to fix that. Move on, fix that. But if you cut yourself some slack and it happens, and then the next time it happens, you're like, damn, I knew better. Slacking again. Next time it happens, well, I'm just slacking. You're making excuses for your behavior. Where's the change? Where's the accountability? And how are you going to fucking actually get your shit together? Because you're telling yourself it's okay to fall apart. I give myself grace. I'm only human. Yeah, you are.
Right.
But until you learn better behavior and start implementing that better behavior, you're going to always be where you are right now. 30 years from now, you're going to talk about I slacked? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you just said so much.
I know. I know. It'd be like that sometimes. I'm hearing between the lines a lot today. My brain's a lot slower right now than it normally is.
I really shouldn't have done therapy before this. Oh, man. There's so much in my brain. You just said so much. I'm so glad you're my husband. I got nothing to add to that. I mean, that was...
Jump back to the email. That works. Might have made a good clip.
Okay. I hope it did. It fucking hit me. Okay, continuing on. Oh, hang on, not continuing on. I'll read that one more time. Because I read it and then I thought of something.
This camera angle and the way that this pillow is underneath of my back, pushing my gut forward, I look like a fucking
No, you don't.
Jello roll on here.
Stop.
Oh, it's bad.
Babe.
I don't like that. I don't look like that.
No, you don't. But don't call it... Oh, my goodness.
We're going to sit up straight.
How about we move...
Look like a non-jelly roll individual. See,
but I also have jelly rolls.
Look at that. No longer have the Buddha belly.
Well, that's Lilo's. But here's mine. Look at that. Yeah.
You have a wrinkle in your shirt.
No, that's my fat.
I have a tire, a protrusion.
In my tummy.
It
Yeah, have you seen that scene in Click? Where he
You want to
takes
have a flat fight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, I can, but my pants go in right here, so we both sitting here. Pillsbury. Don't be mean to yourself when you talk about yourself.
I'm just fixing my posture
Right, but you were mean to yourself.
because I didn't like the way that looked,
Right, but you can adjust yourself nicely.
and I did.
Right, but you didn't have to be mean. Because now I have my tire out, and I might take it personally.
Rephrase.
Yeah.
When I sit like a shrimp, I look like a tub of lard.
Oh my
So I'm going to not do that because it's better for my mental health for me to sit up with good posture. And it's probably better for my spine too.
I agree. I will accept the rephrase. Thank you for doing that. I give myself enough slack to remain aware of what I have to learn instead of being a victim about not yet being where I want to be. The amount of times I have heard people complain about, well, I'll never get there, so why even try? Because they're not where they want to be yet. And because it takes maybe 10, 15, 20 steps, might take you 5 years to get where you want, that's too much work. I want it right now.
Yeah. Well, those people never have it. And if those people
Right.
got it, they would lose it anyways.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand the work that it takes to get there. I can give somebody that's never ran a business before $1 million business, and they would run it into the ground in 6 months because they have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Right. Don't understand how it runs,
Right.
the in and outs.
You have to learn that process in order to make things last. That whole, well, I'll never get there, so I shouldn't try mentality, those are failures to me. Like that's the definition of a loser person to me.
Why should I try when the world's against me?
No, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
World's not against you. The world is the world. Your actions and the decisions that you make is your shortcomings.
You know, it's really crazy to see the universe move when you start doing something with it.
Right. Universe will get the fuck out of your way when you start
Yeah.
doing shit. I've shown you that. Like the first time we had that conversation, you're like, that kind of makes sense. And then we started making ideas to do shit, and we just started doing them. The podcast
And now
is
here we are 2 years later.
number one example. I was like, we could do that. And you're like, yeah? 1 hour and a half conversation in the car, and a week later we had an episode?
Yeah.
2 weeks later we had a following? Like, it's what it felt like anyways.
It's what it felt like.
It wasn't really, but looking
Yeah.
back on it, it was fucking quick.
Yeah. That first recording felt like yesterday.
But you just do it.
Yeah.
And you don't do it from the, oh my God, if this doesn't succeed, it's going to be the end of the world. You do it because you enjoy it. And then the money will come, right? Like you fix a problem for somebody.
Yeah.
You make yourself an asset. You make yourself valuable.
And here we are 2 years later. The time would have come or went if we did this or not.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Continuing on. I realize that at times I won't learn the lessons of how to be a man until I have certain experiences.
But if you're not doing anything to have the experiences, how are you going to
Learn the lessons.
Right.
The lessons come from the experience.
Comes from failing.
Yeah.
Two best teachers on the planet is pain and embarrassment. Failure feels like both of those to me. So when you do something and it doesn't work out, you can either accept that shitty ass feeling or go, okay, that didn't work. Back to the drawing board. How do I make this work?
Right.
Because if you try 50 fucking times and on 51 it works, you didn't fail. You learned how to do the thing.
Yeah.
So
all of that was amping up to the win. I
Right.
mean, it's the goal, right?
Yep. It's mindset. It's all
Yep.
perspective.
All right, continuing on. That said, when I fail to be a man to my partner, it is very difficult to take. And I feel it damages her and our relationship. So it's like a double whammy. It hurts her, and because it hurts her, it hurts the relationship. Or he feels bad and it hurts the relationship. There's something happening there.
Can you read that again?
Okay.
I was zoning the fuck out just now.
What were you zoned out on?
Absolutely nothing that was relevant to anything that we were talking about.
Was it like the Jimmy Neutron?
No.
Got a blast.
What if I said yes? That's exactly it. I was thinking of Jimmy Neutron. Where the fuck? How did you get in my brain? That's what I should have done.
That means that my prayers have been working and the Lord sees me.
And we're starting to work on telepathy. Is that what's happening now?
Could you imagine?
Yeah. I could.
Okay.
It'd be amazing.
Guys, I texted my husband yesterday. And he went in to pick up some stuff. And there was a little bit of a wait. And I was like, this sucks. And he was like, yeah, this is terrible. Like, because we're not near each other. I was like, I miss you already. And I was like, what is it? Like part 2, the travesty.
Yeah.
And I was like, part 1 was not being able to share our brains.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you and I love our relationship.
I love you too.
I love that we text about fun things and not arguments.
Yeah. Life is good. It's just all there is to that.
I get excited when I see your name on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's never a this guy.
Yeah. Fuck.
Right.
Right.
Really don't want to talk to him right now. But I'll have to just to keep the peace.
Right. So can you reread that?
Yeah, I'll reread that. That said, when I fail to be a man to my partner, it's very difficult to take, and I feel it damages her and our relationship.
Okay, so when I fail to be the man that I need to be for my partner, that's number one.
When I fail to be a man to my partner.
Okay, so that's number one. That's acknowledgement. I know that I'm not living up to the set expectation of what I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It then hurts her, which then hurts me.
Yeah.
There are 3 things that are going on there that affect that person. And out of those 3 things, none of them was enough for him to stop doing that.
Damn.
So do you think that's a lack of awareness in the moment? Like I'm thinking solely about me and not the marriage?
No, I think it's okay. So you want me to be totally honest?
Yeah.
I think that there is a blind of I'm trying so hard, but nothing I try is good enough. And then when it happens, that's just added on top of that proves it right. I'm not good enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like there's already the fear of failure.
Are you going back to the so why try statement? Because that's where that felt like to me. That's where it felt like that was
Yeah,
going.
I guess it is. Yeah.
That sucks. That's a shitty fucking mind state to be in.
Right.
Because at that point, you were literally just setting yourself up for failure over and over, like heartbreak.
Yeah. And it's not always like a fuck you mindset. It could be, I'm going to try really hard next time. Like, okay, that sucked, but I'm really, really going to try hard next time. There could be that little blip of hope. And then there's that next extra failure on top. And why even try? Like, just fucked up again.
So what about the people who are so used to just doing everything for themselves and making things work for themselves that they don't think about their partner?
Say that one more time.
What about the people who are always doing everything for themselves and have had to do it for themselves for so long that they put themselves first instead of their partner?
Okay.
Because that's what I was really originally asking you. In this scenario where...
Like him doing that?
Yeah, he's got something that he's got to make a decision on or something that's going on and he just does it without thinking. He's on autopilot looking out to... This is a form of narcissism that everyone has.
Right.
So you feed into that little bit of narcissistic tendency of I have to make sure that I am able to survive, that I'm not really thinking about with them in the moment. The relationship is not held up as a priority over the needs of the individuals. Do you think that could be kind of what's going on here? Because that would speak to a survivor stigma.
I mean, it could be, yeah. I also, okay, so I want to elaborate a little bit further. I don't think it's just one thing either. We are creatures who feel multiple things at once. So it could be an amalgamation of things. It could be those two things that we just said combined.
Yeah.
I think that definitely could play into it. So much to think about.
Well, you know what made me think of that is yesterday while we were playing D&D, one of our friends who are newlyweds said, one of them said my house. And then immediately corrected herself. And I'm like, you have spoke that way your entire adult life. You're married now and you guys are sharing a house. Do you really think that I don't view that as your home?
Right.
Like together, like our home instead of your home kind of thing? You know what I mean? Like how to...
Yeah. But I think she corrected it more out of respect for her marriage.
She absolutely did.
Yeah.
But common sense, you don't need to do that. If you understand that people are habitual speakers.
Yeah.
And if you've always said, my house... your entire fucking life, just because you get married, to break the habit of my house when that is just the way that you explain the home that you reside in, to say our house, there's a shift that has to happen there. And for a newlywed, that doesn't take some time.
Right.
You can be 15, 20 years and still may slip and say my house instead of our house.
Yeah.
Is that really something that you're going to get hung up on? Like, this is just not,
Continuing on.
Yeah, my brain derailed. I don't remember what I'm talking about.
I historically have a big problem with self-esteem and confidence. I fall into the modern bracket of males who are not sure of themselves.
It's because you've never been tested.
Do not embody their masculine energy by being at times indecisive, anxious, inconsistent, unconscious.
Wait. Let's look at every one of those as an individual thing, please.
Okay, so you want to start with indecisive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't want to make decisions.
Decision fatigue, yeah.
So, sometimes I'm like, I need you to decide this. Sometimes it's not relevant to anything. Sometimes it's really relevant to a lot. But depending on my mental faculties, sometimes I'm not able to give a decision right there. And if it's needed, that indecisiveness is normal for people. This falls into how much of this truly matters to me right now compared to all of the other things that I've got going on. And if I just have to make a decision and this is not life altering, I don't fucking care. Right? So in that scenario, instead of me trying to play the guessing game of what it is that we need to do to make things work, just figure the shit out. I don't care.
Right.
That's indecisiveness. That does speak to a lack of masculinity to a degree. But I think when you put that as a broader picture, if you are always indecisive,
that's where I was going with that.
That's
Always indecisive.
very different than I just fucking had to make 3 business meetings this morning. We've just signed another contract. I have to figure out the finalization of the soap line. I have to edit. We've got to go meet Carrie. You have a therapy appointment. The kid's got to be picked up an hour and the dog has to go to the vet today. That's awesome, babe. What do you want for lunch? I don't want to make any more fucking decisions today. It's not indecisiveness.
Right.
There's
Decision
priorities
fatigue,
of where life goes. Okay, so that's the first one for me. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because that's unrealistic. I handle all the appointments.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
And it just made me chuckle a little bit because I know you were just rambling off life things.
That's what the last 15 hours of our life has looked like.
Yeah, it's been nonstop.
Yeah. No, it's been 24 hours at this point. That is what our day has looked like since yesterday afternoon. All the way until we got sat down today.
What was yesterday?
Sunday. We had a whole lot going on over the last 2 days.
It's a haze. I thought today was Sunday.
Today's Monday.
Oh, I have to get the children. What time is it?
1:23.
Holy crap.
I'm paying attention. I gotcha.
Oh my goodness.
We can finish this email and wrap
Okay.
up, and then Carrie and I can go look at that Jeep.
Oh, that scared the crap. Babe, thank you.
Husband's got you.
All right. The next one is anxious. I don't think that is a masculine thing. I'm pretty anxious, and I know I have more estrogen.
Yeah, I think anxiousness comes down to what you are assigning to your anxiety. When you realize that anxiety is nothing more than alarm systems telling you that something is off, you can assign meaning or try to find out what is off, and that can dissipate your anxiety. But I think that speaks to, logic brain thinking. I believe that anxiety is a physiological response.
Yeah, like a nervous system thing.
Right. Maybe not nervous system, but it's definitely an unconscious. That's your subconscious going ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding. And you can't figure out what the fuck is dinging in your brain.
Right.
And then you start to get anxious because the noise won't stop.
And it doesn't mean it's always logical,
No.
right? It could be something that put you in fight or flight before. It could have been past trauma.
Taking the garbage out when you're 13 years old and hear a noise and thinking there's a troll behind you.
Right. I still run at night, especially like from the bathroom to our bed.
Turn that light off and haul ass and see the guy in the black suit running
Fast as
behind you.
fuck. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What's the next one?
Oh gosh. Okay. Next one was inconsistent.
That's a you problem.
I
That's
think,
lack of discipline.
yeah, I think inconsistent kind of goes hand in hand with indecisive.
To a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, inconsistent to me shows that you lack discipline. You
Yeah.
get motivated for a minute, go do this thing, and then that motivation wears off, and you're back to just being you.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of having that nitric oxide boost to go, you're relying on your normal 87 octane, and you're just not motivated to get shit done anymore. Right? Yeah, I think that speaks more to discipline.
When I hear inconsistent, I also think of lack of routine.
That's the discipline. Same
Yeah.
thing for me.
Okay. Unconscious.
That one I didn't understand.
You mean like you
Disassociating,
sleep so much?
just not present in the moment, aloof.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to skip that one because there's
Okay.
no elaboration.
And underconfident.
That's because, again, you've never been tested.
Yeah.
I honestly think that we need rites of passage into adulthood.
Yeah.
That it's worked for hundreds of thousands of years, and now that we've got a melting pot, there's no real rites of passage anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be a pass or fail thing.
Yeah.
Like if you spent a summer before your son turns 13 teaching him how to make fire, set up tents, and do all of that shit, right? Over one summer, just as a preparation. And then hype him up for this camping trip that you're going to take when he turns 13 as a rite of passage into manhood. And he's got to hunt his food, create the fire, process the meal. And if you guys don't catch anything, you don't fucking eat all weekend.
Right.
Right? And if it doesn't happen at 13, you got to go back and do it again at 14. And you don't get to become a man until you have struggled those hardships, learn something from it, and then you have a small rite of passage. And I think there should be a few of them throughout the teenage years of a boy.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that having that lets you know what you're capable of. I think that when people hit rock bottom or they get desperate, you realize what you're actually capable of as a person. As long as we're comfortable, you're not going to experience that. Military even.
Right.
Yeah, before the stress cards.
Yeah. Stress cards.
You don't know about that?
What's a
They
stress
give you
card?
stress cards when you join boot camp now. And when you get yelled at by the drill instructors, if it's too much, you can hold up your little yellow stress card and they have to leave you alone. Mental trauma. Fucking candy ass bullshit.
Oh, I need to fucking process that. They know that's not going to work in war, right? Like, you're not going to hold up your little yellow card and the opposite people you're fighting are not going to be like, oh, guys, guns down.
No.
Yellow cards.
Yeah.
If you can't handle the structure of the military, I know there's some foul shit going on in the military, right? I do believe that there needs to be that hardship. I don't want people going out to war who can't fight a war.
Right. Do you understand why they do that to you in boot camp, though? It is to put you under stress so that you will react from muscle reaction.
Right.
Muscle memory. If you know how to reload your weapon and properly clear a fucked up cartridge or whatever. My brain's just not working right now. But if you can do all of that under high stress while people are screaming at you in the field, you can do the same thing.
Right.
When you train
That's what's gonna be
something over and
happening.
over, it's like getting into a fist fight. You get into a ring and you get hit in the head enough and you're getting used to people swinging at you. It's not fast anymore. It's normal
Right.
speed. You get it used to it and your body responds.
That's crazy. I get that people want to be able to do anything.
Yeah. She said some of them use a red card. Stops everything. Somebody else said not in the Marine Corps.
Good.
Well, I mean, the Marines are a different breed of soldier anyways. But
Good.
let's get back to that. We have 30 minutes to wrap up.
In my relationship, I need validation that we're okay and struggle immensely to remain steadfast when we are not.
You got abandonment issues. Mm-hmm. You're also relying on the validation of other people to make sure that you're okay.
Right.
So that is
I never question if we're okay.
the people pleaser. That's what that is,
Yeah.
right? Okay. You don't?
No, I never question if we're okay. If we're having a disruption, I know you're not leaving me.
Right.
We just have to work through this tense moment together, understand each other's perspective, talk about it, and then take note so it doesn't happen again.
So what got you to that point?
What do you mean?
Because that wasn't the case with your previous relationships.
What got me to that point was the first time I looked at you and said, so why are we even together? And you said, don't ever say that again.
It was that easy, huh?
Yeah.
I was mad.
It was
fuck
also
when
the
you
way
said that shit
it was
to
also
me.
the way you said it.
Yeah.
Like you were offended.
I was. That like, so we have our spats where we'll get elevated, but I don't get mad very often because I don't like the way I feel when I get angry.
Right.
That statement that day when you said that fucking pissed me off, and it took everything I had not to start screaming. I remember that day. And I'm like, we stopped all the conversation for a little while until you calmed down a little bit, and then we picked the conversation back up. But that's not an option for me.
That was my abandonment kicking
Yeah.
in.
Well, knowing that you think that way makes me feel like you have an exit strategy, which is why we made it very clear, like none of that's on the table for us. We're not doing that. If
Right.
you really feel that way, then this isn't meant to be. Like I'm giving you everything that I can give you, and I expect the same from you. And if we have an ugly spat, this is a bad moment. It's not a bad life or even a bad day. This just sucks right now. Like the rest of our time is much better than this 15-minute ordeal or an hour-long ordeal. And that's
That was also like the first time ever
yeah.
we had a disruption.
Yeah.
And I was fully prepared for a 3-week you being mean to me, and it was right after we moved in together.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah, I was absolutely, because I've never experienced that before. Someone not holding grudges and making the household miserable until they feel better, no matter how hard I try to mend the situation.
That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm healing.
Continuing on.
Yes.
Okay. I can convince myself that I am not good enough for her and that she would be better off without me.
We just talked about that.
Okay, so pausing on that mindset, that thought by itself is wrong, right? Everybody has value and they bring something to a relationship. If somebody, especially if someone has decided they like what you provide and want to be with you, right? But you saying that statement, convincing yourself of that statement, and then actually bringing it into reality, you're right. She does deserve better than that. Someone who creates issues just to create issues to feel better about themselves is a massive red flag.
Yeah. That statement is a form of emotional terrorism to me.
Yeah.
It is
psychological warfare.
It is. It's manipulation. That's no different than saying if you leave, I'm going to hurt myself. Like
Yeah.
you are manipulating that person to. It's just a bad situation.
bid after you.
If you really are somebody that believes the person that you're with doesn't deserve you, you either step up and do more,
Or you let them go.
or you let them go.
And you make that decision. You don't just leave me.
Right.
You deserve better than me. You'll find somebody else.
Yes,
No.
that's all manipulation tactics. I 100% believe that's emotional terrorism.
Yeah, if you're not willing to step up to be that better person, you need to be the one to end things.
Yep.
My girlfriend has BPD, and I have learned through experience and research that if I want to be with her with this condition, I have to be strong and resolute in my conviction that I can handle her at her worst. Okay, pausing. I see you shaking your head.
Well, yeah, because he just said I have to handle her at her worst. That's not how that works.
Right.
She's been given a diagnosis. She has borderline personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So now what? Has she just said, this is who I am, deal with it? Because that's not what BPD is.
Right.
If you have BPD, you can do dialectic behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. You can start doing things to decrease your triggers, emotional to logic brain thinking. There's a whole lot of shit that can be done so that BPD is healed BPD and not fucking living in a traumatic split nastiness all the fucking time. That's a choice. If she's choosing not to do anything and you're choosing to stay there, you're choosing to stay with somebody who is actively not healing, not doing the things that needs to be done to make her function as a normal person would function.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also, that whole sentence was wrong as well. Every book that I have ever read about other people being in relationships with me as somebody who has borderline, they all specifically say you can't get on their fucking emotional roller coaster. You have to stand by, let them ride the fucking ride until it's done, and then have conversations with them when they're in logic brain thinking, hoping that they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean you're going to have to fucking be stoic and deal with that shit and handle it? We're not handling each other when we're in episodes. We're like, hey, I'm fucking going through an episode right now. Is there anything that you need? I'm not leaving. Let me touch your butt. Like, what do we need right now? We'll try to make that work. And if I got to just go away for a little while, I'll go play video games.
Right.
Go smoke and garden and run the dog, babe. I don't know what you need right now. And you come back and be like, okay, here's what the trigger was. This is what I was feeling, and this is why. Can we discuss it?
That's it.
Or I'll do the same thing, and then that's healthy. We both have borderline. I don't expect you to fucking suffer through any of my shit. When I'm going through it, you're the first one to know. The moment I open my eyes, today's a bad day, babe. Okay, I heard.
And we also make it a point to know each other, right? Okay, so for this little mental picture, right? We are each glass figurines, right? You have a copy of me and I have a copy of you. And these little glass figurines reflect each other and how we treat one another. If you ever pick me up and my glass becomes sharp, you need to let me know.
Right.
Right? And that's towards you. If I am going through it and I'm having a really hard time and I'm having a mental breakdown, but I look at you and go, babe, I'm really fucking going through it, and I just need like 5 minutes, that glass is still smooth. I'm not poking you.
Right.
But if I blow up on you and go, what the fuck? Can't you see I'm having a hard time and you're not even helping me? You just got stabbed by 6 different little glass pieces.
Yep. And that's so hard to recover from.
Yeah.
Prefer to think that we're like ocean tumbled glass.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
That really nice, smooth, frosted feeling. Yeah. That's us.
That's a good way to put that. That's a really good. I was thinking of like Cinderella glass slipper type. I like the sea glass though.
Yeah.
I like that you added to it. But when my self-esteem is low and I enter into a bout of depression, I become very self-centered and our experience in our relationship becomes focused on me. She often has to pull me out of the pits in order to be there for her. But sometimes she needs me to do that for myself because she's struggling or so that she can be vulnerable. So far, I have often failed to do so.
It's because neither one of you are doing anything to heal yourselves.
Right.
You are relying on the other person to validate you. This
make you feel better.
Yeah, this is a big problem.
Mm-hmm. There is a grace that we have with one another. Right? Like this last month, you have had horrid back pain. And I understand there are times you're on autopilot. You are focused on not crumbling to the ground right now. And if I ask you a question out of the blue, you might snap, but you always apologize afterwards. There is an understanding if I'm having a really, really bad day and it hurts for you to breathe, you're not going to be my therapist.
Right.
Like, I either need to process that on my own, compartmentalize it until we are able to have the discussion, or I need to go find another trusted person that I can have a variation of the conversation with if it's not about our marriage, right? I have a big problem with people believing that you need to put aside whatever you're going through because I should be the most important person in your life.
Right.
Right? If he's depressed and he's having a really hard time right now and you're having a borderline episode about your shoes, you need to put your stuff aside right now because that's the you problem. And right now your man's struggling. If he's not struggling all the time, if it's, say, depression's on a cycle and every 3 months he just really goes through it. You know, every 3 months we're going to have to get a self-care kit ready, right? My depression comes in waves. I know when I can feel when my depression's coming on and I start getting things in order for me to sit down and make sure, okay, I have my knitting kit next to the
You're
couch.
proactive.
Right.
Because you're responsible for your depressive episodes.
Yeah. That's how you support your partner.
Mm-hmm. I also think that it's important to recognize and actually differentiate the difference between being depressed and being clinically depressed.
Yeah.
Because so many people take that little bit of unhappiness in life and go into the full-blown woe is me, my life is garbage, and make things way worse than they need to be simply because they're overwhelmed or they're exhausted or they're overworked or they're underfed or whatever the thing is that's going on in their lives that will create that depression. And I also believe that when you can pinpoint what it is that made you depressed, you can pull yourself out of this shit a whole lot faster. My depression is like way the fuck under control compared to what it was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just from the amount of work that I've done. And it's the way that I believe things now and the way that I really truly believe that I'm able to work on an optimistic side of my brain instead of a pessimistic side of my brain because of the amount of work that I've done.
Yeah.
I can turn almost everything into a positive or a laughing matter. Like, so.
Or a learning experience.
Yeah.
I want to understand from Chris's perspective as a man how he addresses or addressed inconsistencies in his behavior as the man he wants to be and the man he is to his partner. I mean, keep reading.
Is there more to that, or is that just the statement to me?
That might just be a statement to you. There's more to it.
Your inconsistencies is a lack of discipline.
Yeah.
And not being the man that you believe you should be for your partner just means that you don't value them enough to actually step up to be that man. Because if you had somebody that you were willing to do that for, that you viewed that you needed to be worthy of, you'll be worthy of them. That's all there is to that. If I thought that I could do the bare minimum and never have to worry about shit and you'd still be in my life, I probably wouldn't work as hard. I know that you're not here because of my work ethic, but I have set a standard in our house of the way that I'm going to conduct myself in our marriage. How fucking wrong would that be if I just step back and be like, well, I got her now. I'm not going to chase, not going to work, not going to try to level our life up. I got her. What the fuck she ain't going nowhere. Wrong. Till she does. Till somebody else comes along and realizes that you could have been that man and she found somebody who actually is that man. Then what? So that's my thought on that. You lack discipline. If you really wanted it, you would do it. You just don't want it bad enough.
Yeah. All right, continuing on. I do and enjoy all the trappings of male love and provision. I hold the door open for her. I don't let her get out of the car on the roadside. I pay for pretty much everything she needs and wants, etc. But in the moments that truly reveal masculine strength and energy, I am consistently failing.
That's because you're an actor. You're an actor, bro. Anybody can open the door and pay for something.
She could do that.
Don't walk on that side of the sidewalk. Go ahead and walk up the stairs first on the way up. Anybody can do that. You're an actor. You're an actor. We've talked about this on the podcast. That's the courting phase. Just because somebody does that shit doesn't mean they're a fucking gentleman. It definitely doesn't mean that they're a man. Carrie opens the door for her women all the time. So
Yep.
I say that shit like Carrie's just fucking running around here like some fucking big ass lesbian pimp, but I know. She's the masculine in her relationships though. I've known you long enough that I've watched the way that you conduct yourself. So, and that was enjoyment for me. So
Yeah.
in my head, she's just rocking a big fur coat with a fucking
with the
pin
leopard
pat and
print.
the feather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get that door for you, baby. Don't want them nails to get messed up, girl. I got you. Come sit on my lap.
It's not stopping.
It's not. It's not. And it's so funny in my head, too, because she's so
it just
short.
keeps escalating, right? I see her doing like the little limp as she's going.
She's got the fucking pimp swag.
Order me some tall shoes.
Fuck.
The fucking platforms.
Platforms. Oh my god.
That made me sweat.
We can remix Big Papa to Small Papa.
Oh, fuck.
Flavor Flav change.
Edible did it.
Oh, we're not on the same level. That's the problem.
Oh, shit.
You ate the whole edible?
I ate enough.
Hell yeah, babe.
I hit my pen like twice before I sat down.
Nice.
I was worried about my back hurting.
Yeah.
Back doesn't hurt, and that shit was funny.
I'm having fun with you, so. You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. I have many times said I will try and change and do better emotionally for her, but so far my words have been louder than my actions. In the moments that I have had to be a solid statue for her female energy to crash into like a wave, instead of standing strong, I have been swept along with her. I want her to be able to experience her emotions that might be associated with her BPD. Why? You know why? Fuck them for putting those letters together like that. Imagine if that was all lowercase. My dyslexia could not.
That's funny.
Her autistic sensory issues, or even that she is menstruating without her worrying that I'll be distraught over it. I want to develop the confidence to be her rock. Okay, so because he added menstruation in there, if you truly are so insecure that she can't even experience her period, right? Because when I'm going through that kind of emotional upheaval, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. Babe, if I don't text you back for 3 minutes because I'm laying in bed watching Lifetime, let me just ride my emotional roller coaster right now. I love you. I promise I'm not leaving. Pick up ice cream on your way home.
Yeah.
There is a massive frailty there. And I would start questioning, why is there such a massive insecurity or instability within the relationship? Almost every woman has a period. Almost every single woman goes through the emotions and the ups and downs, and we are on monthly cycles. Every single week, our hormones are going through something. We are a mess. Over here, like a chlorinated pool, checking it every 3 days. It takes one thing to get it off balance, too, and our emotions are just askew. So what would you recommend, knowing that even when her hormones are going off and she's going through womanly hysterias?
I don't have anything nice to say about this.
Yeah.
Real shit, like, this is just a frail ass dude. Like,
Yeah.
if she wants a woman, she'll be with a woman, bro. And right now, you're not portraying anything about anything masculine. You can't deal with her period.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deal with her fucking episodes. You get depressed and expect her to cater to you. You want to be this knight in shining armor to her, but you can't fucking figure out how to do that. Like, you lack discipline. You need a fucking mentor, and you need to find a group of strong men.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to fucking go get in jujitsu and get punched in the head a couple times, let you know that your world's not going to fall apart if you fucking stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm having a really hard time with this.
Okay.
There are people that we know personally who were raised by women who have this mentality.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to say anything else because I'm not going to say anything nice.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Continuing on. No, I'm not continuing on because I was also hung up on. He said, I am consistently failing. I have many times said I will try and change and do better emotionally for her, but so far my words have been louder than my actions. So
you don't want it.
You know what the problem is.
Comfort of changing is harder than the comfort of where you're going through right now. He's comfortable.
Right.
And it's only a problem when it becomes a problem.
You need to start putting yourself aside.
Yeah.
When you're depressed and she's on her period, don't think that she's leaving you. Right. Have sympathy for what she's going through. And if you need some attention while you're depressed, and say, babe, you want to come over and we can cuddle and watch The Notebook?
Babe, I know that you're going through a whole lot of emotional trauma right now. Your girl is bleeding. She's having a whole lot of stab wounds in the stomach feeling, and some chocolate ice cream and some belly time on my belly because I'm having a bad day would go a long way. Let's get some fucking loaded ass French fries, milkshakes, crumble cookie, order all that shit to the house, get in our underwear and lay on the couch and just be miserable for a little while.
Right.
It's crazy what that physical contact will do. Maybe you both just need to cry a little bit.
A good wail.
Right?
Yeah.
So you think that comes down to a lack of communication? Because I have no problem being like, look, I'm fucking going through it. I need like a 30-second hug. I'm going to lay on you. And now I don't even say anything. I just stand over top of you until you go like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I lay there for a minute until I feel like I'm breathing like a fatty on you. And then like I'm
No,
consciously
you
aware of
couldn't.
my breathing. And I'm like, I got to go.
No, you can stay longer.
It drives me nuts.
I
As
want you
soon
to
as
stay
I'm
longer.
aware of my breathing, I have to get up.
Take me with you. Can we like front backpack it?
Do you do that when you lay on me? Like shallow breathe to not breathe like a fatty?
No.
I do. Nope.
All in your ear.
Nope. I can't do it. The idea of you hearing me breathing heavy, like I just ran up some stairs while we're just laying in bed.
That's not what I associate it with.
All right.
Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
He's going to get weird with it from now on.
I'm here to talk to you about your car's extended warranty.
Yeah, that was good. We got 10 minutes.
Okay. I want to develop the confidence to be her rock. The other day we had an episode. Okay, so now we're combining we, and that's codependency.
Okay.
Right, so they combined had an episode together. It wasn't just one of them.
Okay.
Okay. And I dropped her off to get her 2-hour appointment. She was mad at me and didn't want me to pick her up and said she'd take the bus back. I told her I'd rather pick her up, but she was insistent. I told her to text me if she wanted me to pick her up anyway. She took the bus and was very upset and uncomfortable, and on reflection, I wish I had decided to stay to tell her to shut up and get in the car and be mad at me in a place that I know she's safe.
That's not how you do that.
It's not how that goes, yeah.
No. Not at all. Could you imagine you being mad and I'm like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Doesn't matter.
You're
what
gonna
I
listen to me.
Doesn't matter what I say after that.
Yeah, you don't talk to me that way.
No.
I wouldn't cry. I would. It really wouldn't matter what's happening to me in that moment. If you hit me with anything disrespectful akin to shut up, instantly my body language is changing and I'm just looking at you.
Right.
Processing what the fuck was just said to me.
So what happens in that scenario where old girl gets on the bus and is accosted by somebody on the bus? As her man, your inability to keep her safe has just kicked in. You have lost the ability to call yourself a man. You are a male. The answer to that situation would be like, look, I know you're fucking mad at me right now. I got your AirPods. They're charged.
I got your blanket.
I'll be there in 15 minutes. You don't have to say a fucking word to me. Get in the car.
I love you
Here's
too
your
much.
AirPods. We'll go home.
I love you too much for something to happen to you on the bus.
Right. And when
you
we
can
get
sit
home,
in the back seat.
I'll chauffeur this motherfucker. I'll even wear the hat if I need to.
You want to lay down? I'll bring a pillow.
When we get home, if you still need time away from me, I'll go somewhere. But you'll be home. You'll be safe. That's what that looks like. That's the difference between male behavior and man behavior.
Yeah.
Take the bus.
I would
Over
have.
my fucking dead body.
You know what would have worked for me, no matter how mad I was? If you had shown up like my favorite snack, a fresh ice cold water, my slippers, my seat in the position that I like.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
I could literally have shown up with a fucking oatmeal cream pie and your AirPods.
Yeah, an oatmeal cream pie would have done it.
One of these is going to make this ride home okay. You don't have
Yeah.
to talk to me, but you are getting in the car. I'm not letting you ride the bus.
Yeah.
I'll even give them both to you if it'll make you feel better. You can have them both. I brought them both.
It's not one or the other.
Yeah, you don't have to make a choice. Just get in.
Yeah.
You can be mad at me all you want. But you're not going to be mad at me and putting yourself in dangerous situations to spite me.
Right.
We're going to be riding that
To
bus
really
together.
stick it
And then how
to
the fuck
me.
are we going to go get the car?
Right.
You fucking sit across from me on the aisle and just stare at me the whole time. Fucking mean mug. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to let you put yourself in a dangerous situation simply because
You're mad at me.
you want to prove a point right now.
Continuing on. It was a big mistake. It showed that I needed her to decide if we're okay and that a relationship should proceed. For me, I demonstrated that I can't show that I care more for her than how upset she is at me.
Yep. Also showed that you failed as leadership in the moment when you needed to lead.
I get shit startling. Right? If something comes out of left field and now all of a sudden you're angry or in fight or flight and you don't understand why you're arguing, it's real easy to just continue being angry at things.
Absolutely.
To take a step back and be like, babe, I don't understand what's going on right now. I love you. I don't want to fight with you. It changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah. I don't like this.
Right.
How about that? I don't like this. Well, I don't either. Okay, then let's figure it out. Like,
Right.
this is not what I want from our relationship. There's an emotional maturity that comes in along with it. The problem is most people have learned to
bulldoze.
do whatever they have to do to survive, whatever that looks like. People pleasing, being abrasive, letting other people lead, whatever they needed to do to feel safe. And if that's become your entire personality and your behavioral traits, and you've never done anything beyond that, you will always do exactly what you're doing right now. You need to start recognizing in the moments when you have the ability to step up and be a leader, to step up and be a fucking leader. If she goes, hey, this just happened and it made me feel like, don't fucking make a big deal out of it. Validate it. Damn, I didn't think it was going to make you feel that way. And now that I'm aware of it, I'll work on it. She wants to know, everyone wants to know that their feelings matter to the person they're with. And if you're not changing things to show that like you're willing to take them into consideration and share a life together,
Right.
what are you doing? Why bother? You can be alone and fucking have the life you want without the other problems of another person if you're not capable of dealing with the problems of another person. But she has borderline.
Right.
So don't agitate that. And then also she needs to be doing a whole lot of work on herself. If she's having
100%.
episodes like that where I'll just take the bus,
That's a problem.
yeah, you need to fucking go to therapy.
Yeah. Why do you feel the need to try to gain control of a situation like that just because you're upset?
Yeah. Cognitive biases are fucking wild.
Aren't they?
Because I would never, ever, ever think of you being like, I'll just take the bus. Like that whole conversation to me, like I can't think of a single scenario where that would be a thing.
No.
Like even if you were mad and like we were at each other, you're getting in the car.
Right. Yeah. No. Going into the wild without my husband. Plus, I'm upset. I'm not on my full defenses.
Right.
I'm not paying attention to my surroundings. I'm good on that. I'm gonna be mad, but I'm not gonna be stupid.
I look at that as that I don't fucking need you. From her standpoint, I'll just take the train. I'll fucking need you to come get me.
I view that as a self-destructive behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole lot that speaks to her trauma in that.
I also used to be that kind of person.
Yeah.
I would do drastic things to prove a point to show you that I'm in control here.
Are we done with the email?
No, we're not.
We have 3 minutes, so let's blast through.
The last thing I want to touch on before I get back into that. When you point out something to me that I do that you know that I'm trying to work on, I always thank you for pointing it out to me.
Yeah.
There's never a backlash. There's never, well, that's just how I am. No, you know that I'm trying to work on this thing, and as my partner, I mean, I would say it's your duty, and I expect you to help me with these things, especially if we're building a life together.
Right. Because it's our life.
Right.
Yeah.
Continuing on. I needed validation from her as opposed to making the decision that would keep her safe and loved. She often has to make decisions for us because I'm unsure and concerned by getting the wrong result that I put the mental load on her, first forcing her to be in the masculine. I felt I had been weak. I want to rectify the disordinance between my apparent lack of strength and my ability to be in my masculine, to make strong decisions that are based on what I want and think is right for the relationship, especially when my partner can't see that. Have you, Chris, developed such unwavering confidence in your decisions and place as a man in the relationship? How have you, Chris, developed such unwavering confidence in your decisions and place as the man in the relationship? That's the first question.
I'm battle tested. I have been at rock bottom. I have failed and lost everything numerous times in my life. You get to the point where you do so much for so long with so little that you can fucking pretty much do anything you set your mind to. That's discipline. And that, you know, that starts at sometimes maybe that looks like making your bed in the day. You get up and fucking journal for 30 minutes while you take your pills and all of your morning supplements and go to the gym for an hour. Set PRs, set new fucking goals. Keep a list of the things that you put in your body every day. Like, it's not hard to create a routine. And when you start doing things and start having little victories and start getting wins on your own and see that you're capable of doing shit, that confidence changes. But I also fucking know who I am. And I think that's a big part of it. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
you're not going to tell me I can't do something. And if I don't know something and I can't find somebody right now that does, I'm going to fucking learn everything I can about it. So the next time somebody goes, hey, I don't know a lot, but I know this because I researched it. Right? Like,
It sounds like he's scared of failure.
it sounds like he's afraid to stand up for himself. He's a people pleaser. Everybody else has got to dictate everything to make sure that he's okay.
Yeah.
I don't fucking need anybody. I want you here. This is a choice. I will fucking chase you and do all the things that I got to do to make you smile so that I know that you're not going anywhere. Because you're a very intelligent, very attractive woman who could fucking have any man that they want. You choose me. So I continue to thrive and strive to be the better man than I was yesterday, even if it's by 1%, to let you know that, hey, like these past behaviors that we have had issues with, I'm working on not ever doing that again. You view me the same way, so you're doing the same thing. We are working towards the common goal of a solid foundation in a relationship, and that makes us do more.
Right.
There's a standard that is held there. If I'm not holding my standard, you're going to leave. I'm not fucking stupid.
Right.
This is a choice. That's where that comes into me. And I can't do anything more than my best. And I can improve and I can grow and I can do. And if my best no longer becomes good enough for you at some point and you decide to go, I did everything I could.
Right.
I can't control that.
Next question.
Yep.
How do you choose to How do you choose to actively embody that in difficult moments in your relationship?
You just said it. How do I choose? I make a choice. I'm not going to let my woman down. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. In the event that I'm not capable of something, you're going to know about it. I'm going to tell you. I am not trying to fucking hide it. You know who I am. But that comes to discipline. I know I can be that motherfucker if I need to be. But this also comes down to lived life experience. If you had a really squishy life, everything has been fucking smooth sailing, you've never had hardships, you don't know what you're capable of.
Right.
I think we need those hardships. So,
And for you both, how do you handle the regret of not acting how you wanted to with your partner? Sure that you've lost an opportunity to demonstrate what a good partner you can and ought to be, potentially chipping at a foundation of your mutual love and respect. How do you handle the regret of not acting how you wanted to with your partner?
I don't have regret. If something happens and I fuck up and that situation played out the way that it did and we have moved past it, I'm not losing sleep over it at night.
Right.
We have talked about it. I know what I need to do moving forward to not relive that situation. That was a lesson learned, right? Until we have this lesson to go through, how the fuck am I supposed to know how to act or conduct myself? I have now gone through that. I know what is expected of me. And the next time moving forward, if I choose to revert to that previous behavior instead of doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing moving forward, that is a choice. So there's no regret there. I didn't know. I know moving forward. You have to learn how to do things. You can't just wake up and be a master communicator or wake up and be a professional boxer or wake up and fucking reprogram computers by code. You have to learn. It's steps, it's failures, it's growth.
It is.
That sucked. Didn't do that right. Next time, this is the way I need to approach it. This is what we talked about in the beginning about overcoming obstacles. The universe is going to put shit in front of you and you're going to have to learn to overcome them. And they're not obstacles anymore. They're bumps in the road.
Right.
First time you come across that bump though, you're like, fuck, I don't know. It's a big ass pothole. Like, I don't know if I can navigate that. And you have to figure that shit out. And the next time you're like, blah, blah. You're just going. It's all there is to that. So that comes down to making a decision. You learn from your fucking mistakes. You want to regret and feel pity. It sounds to me like you're looking for a poor me. Oh, you can do better. Let me pat your head. No, I fucked that up. Got it next time. Moving on.
Thank you for letting me know.
Yep.
And that's the end of the email.
Well, since a lot of that was addressed to me, what I would suggest to this dude is find a male mentor, start going to the gym, clean up your diet, possibly start doing some sort of jujitsu or some sort of thing that does not involve a participation trophy where you have to actually go out and win, and start building some sort of self-confidence in yourself. Maybe set like I want to bench 225 for 20 reps in the next 6 months, and go to the gym and start watching YouTube videos on how to strengthen your accessory muscles and like accomplish that and see what it feels like to fucking set your mind to actually doing something with your body and how that can affect your brain power and your willpower to do shit. I'm fucked up right now. My spine's a mess. Like I hurt bad, but if I had to pick 225 pounds up off the ground right now, even with my fucked up back and only one of my legs working properly, you better believe that weight's coming up. I have a belief and a confidence in myself. I picked that fucking trailer up the other day by myself.
You did.
Pick up a refrigerator right now if I have to. Like I'm fucked up. My body's a mess, but shit's got to get done.
Right.
So, and I'm not trying to put all this onto physical stature.
It's just an example.
It is an example. Like I know what my body is capable of doing. So even though I'm hurt, it can still do it. And if it's something that I know that I can't because of my hurt, like it hurts way more to put my shoes on than it did to put the trailer up.
Right.
But I'm still going to fucking do that. My pride is too much for that to be a thing. But that also speaks to discipline. I could fucking not stretch and not put my foot over to put my shoe on and let that go and get worse and worse and worse versus doing the things that I need to do because I know that it needs to get done. Our relationship is the same way. Me serving my wife the way that my wife needs to be served and loved and respected so that she feels safe in the marriage is my priority. If I don't do those things and you don't feel safe, secure in our marriage, you're going to take a bus somewhere. And I'm going to be like, well, whatever you say, babe. How does that sound like leadership? When our life starts falling apart and things are not going well anymore and you're looking to me as the man in our relationship to figure things the fuck out and I'm looking at you like, well, this is your doing. You figure this out. I'm just along for the ride, you strong, independent woman. Let me ride your coattails. Ugh.
Right.
Don't even like saying that stupid shit. I believe in gender roles, and I don't give a fuck if people fucking have issues with that or not. If you're a masculine person, you need to lean into that shit.
Right.
So
I agree.
All right. With that being said, guys, remember you are the author of your own life,
So grab a pen.
and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.